Hello. I am Kelvin, and beside me here...
Hi, I'm Crease.
This is Crease. I'm Kelvin, this is Crease. And if you want to know how this show works, and you probably do, bearing in mind that this is the first time you've ever actually listened to it, basically, Crease here has compiled a list of topics, a list of news stories, questions, hypothetical situations, things that he thinks will be of interest to me and indeed to you. And as soon as I grow tired with any one of those subjects, I ring my bell, and we move on to the very next subject on his list. So, Crease, what is the first subject on your list?
Well, I'm going to start with film news, if I may. Could you play the sting, please?
Yes.
I'm going to start with some... it's not so much film news. Let's do... I'm going to start with Crease's Cinema Corner.
Is that what you're actually calling
Crease's
it?
Film Corner? What's better?
Crease's Cinema Corner? You don't really have a cinema corner, do you? It's not a very good
but it's radio,
name.
so people don't know that I don't have a cinema corner.
I didn't mean literally you don't have a cinema corner, but I mean you don't...
Cinemas do have corners in them.
Yeah, I know, but you never...
Unless it was an entirely circular... I mean, IMAX
that.
doesn't have a corner because it's a big circle.
I know, but it should be named in some way around something that actually exists. So, for example,
so you want me to be Crease's Cinema Auditorium?
No! No, you're rubbish at this.
Crease's projector... No, reel. Something with reel.
Real.
What can we use as a pun?
Crease gets real.
Crease gets real.
Next topic. Right, go on. Crease gets real. That's what we're calling it.
Film Crease?
No, that means literally nothing. It's just
Crease in
you've
the film.
just put two words together.
In the actual film.
Yeah. But again, that's not a thing, is it? So just,
we'll rename this.
Yes.
Welcome to...
Crease Gets Real. That's what we're calling it for this week. It's the cleverest name anyone's come up with so far.
Okay, right. So this next section is Crease Gets Real.
Jesus Christ.
But a real is spelt with two E's. So it's a play on words. It's a pun.
Oh dear.
I would like to talk about kids' movies, children's movies.
Right.
I want to know, what do you think constitutes a good kids' movie? What do you think, what are the sort of essential things? And afterwards, I'm going to ask you to invent one for me as well.
Right.
So what do you think, what are the components that make up a great kids' movie? Young protagonists.
Well, no, you see, that is my very first thought was it doesn't need a young protagonist. It's funny you should say that because I don't know if that's true.
You need to have somebody who can.
The kid's got to identify
with
them,
but
I don't think they have to be an adult. I mean,
no, they can be an animal.
Kid, think of some of the most popular films of all time, including for children: Indiana Jones, Star Wars.
Yes. Babe,
and they're not pigs, children, are they? So,
but the pig is young. He was a young pig.
Let's take Babe out of this.
Sure.
I tend to feel like that's not
the
a good
Nutty
comparison.
Professor.
Right.
He's old, and that's a kids' movie.
He's an old man.
I take your point.
He's an old fat man.
But he's kind of childlike in his. No, but he's kind of a. But he's kind of.
Sorry, go on.
He's kind of a child in his heart, though.
But that's a stupid thing to say. Yeah, he's a child in his heart, but that is not the same as being a child on the outside skin, which the Nutty Professor arguably and inarguably is not. He's not got a child's skin. That's the point.
But like something like Flubber, he's a bit of a...
Yeah, but he's an old man. But
he's young, but he's...
I feel we're getting off the thing of classic children's films here when we're on the topics of Flubber and the Nutty Professor, neither of which I would say is all-time great.
Andre.
But I do genuinely think that kids are quite happy to have an adult as their lead character, so long as they feel like they can identify with that character, so long as they can feel there's a sense of adventure in that character which they share about the world.
I would say so. A clearly defined good and evil, which is also true. Of like some action movies.
But then is that? I mean, again, Darth Vader.
He's evil.
No, of course he's evil initially, but we later discover that actually he isn't just pure evil. He's a mass murdering father.
Is Jafar?
No, he's not. He's clearly... No, of course he's not. What a stupid question. He's clearly a villain.
Yeah.
But then Aladdin is a thief.
Aladdin can't be a lovable rogue. No, I'm not saying Han Solo's a lovable rogue.
Right.
Han Solo's a womanising, unpleasant man who's cocksure. But you still like him.
Yes.
I'm not saying you can't be lovable.
You've had a bad experience with all those, I can tell.
I'm saying that there needs to be the bad guy needs to be quite easily like clearly labelled as a bad guy.
I mean that happens.
I can think of every
that
Disney
does
in
tend to
every
happen,
Disney
but that
film.
doesn't mean that it has to happen. I don't think children have to have good and evil clearly defined like that, because I think they are more than capable of understanding that there are shades of grey, and more to the point, shouldn't they be shown that there are shades of grey? That's the whole point.
Do you feel any empathy for the robbers in Home Alone? Do you feel any? Is it a
but there is that old man who hits them with a shovel, and you're expected to believe that he is unpleasant and sinister, possibly a paedophile with a shovel throughout the entire film, and then at the end you reveal that he's actually a nice old man who attacks people with a shovel.
That's true.
Yeah, so that's
maybe
as
you're
well.
right. Yeah,
right,
I think you might have convinced me that. Yeah. So what is a children's? Is it just something that no one dies? If they do,
okay.
If they do,
right, we've got one we can agree on.
It's either in a comedic way,
right,
which leaves it ambiguous to whether they're dead or not.
Yes,
like they drop off a cliff and sort of go, "I'll get you," or something like that.
Yeah.
Or they don't die; they just sort of become knocked out.
You don't see the body.
No, that's true. You don't. No
bodies.
No bodies.
No bodies. You would never get a body. You would never get an armless body, limp on the floor, its skin greying, its eyelids burnt.
You might get a mummy though.
You might get a
like
mummy,
a desiccated mummy. No juicy dead humans. Only desiccated.
No fresh dead bodies.
No fresh dead bodies. No intestines. There's never been a children's movie with an intestine in.
Never been a child's film with an intestine in it. Never been a child's. Although, I mean, what about something like? Then I think Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park has a man's arm has been bitten off and falls onto Laura Dern's arm.
Movie.
It's a movie aimed predominantly at children. Oh, I'm not saying that. I mean, I'd like to watch that now. But I mean,
Tauntaun open in Empire Strikes Back, and
intestines. There's intestines.
So on that, invent a movie, a child's movie. Go.
So what do you want me to do?
I want you to invent a child's movie.
Let me have a think. What will be my children's
Where would
movie?
you set it?
Okay, where will I set
it? Is it a fantasy world? Is it the real world?
Okay. It's about a middle-aged man.
Right.
And he is fed up with his job working in a zoo. He's fed up with his job at the zoo, and he decides that he's fed up of seeing the same animals all the time. He's always seeing the same bloody animals, right?
Right.
He decides he's going to go and discover his own animal.
Oh, that's good.
He's going to go and discover a brand new species of animal.
Yeah.
And it's him travelling around the world trying to find an animal and following clues and following hints and following all these kind of myths and legends in an attempt to try and find a brand new animal.
Is he bumbling?
No, he's not bumbling.
No.
He is world weary.
Okay.
He's sick of the world, but through the adventure, he rediscovers his joie de vivre.
And he's travelling alone.
He's travelling with... No, he's travelling... I don't want him to have a love interest, because kids hate love interests.
Oh, he's not remotely interested.
So kids there's not going to be a love interest, so he's going to be travelling not with a woman, but he's going to have a woman there, because you can't have no women in this.
Right.
No.
No.
I've had it. No, here's what he has. He's not going to have a love interest, because kids hate love interests. They bloody hate them. I hated love interests when I was a kid. Hate them. So what I'm going to replace that with is I'm going to replace it with a different female character, but she has no parents. And he becomes
eaten by the mythical creature.
They were eaten by the mythical creature. That's brilliant. And he becomes like a father figure to her.
And then they find it, and she goes to kill it because she wants vengeance.
Yes.
But then you find out that it didn't kill her parents. It took them off and cured them for
that's such a disappointing thing for children to find. Children like there to be a death, so there is going to be.
Did eat them.
So he ate the parents, and he has to stop her killing it.
Yes, all the other way around. Maybe he's angry because he realises it's the creature that's killed her parents. He's gonna kill it. But she says no. She says no. Look at how beautiful it is.
No, that's a lesson. That's a moral. I don't want any
morals.
No morals. There's no morals.
They kill the animal.
They kill it.
They cut its head off. They cut open its entrails.
Yes.
They spill it out over the camera.
Smear its blood on their face. Yes.
There we go.
That's my film.
Okay, who plays?
It's them travelling around the world, meeting different creatures. I think that's quite a good idea.
And you got possibility of sequels and stuff.
As they find more creatures, they find like a series of creatures over the series, and each time it's like a drug. Each time they find another monster, they have to find another bigger, more amazing one.
You could say they got to catch them all.
They got to catch them all. That's right, and they have to capture the monster. They have to capture the monster so they can get it back home. They capture it by throwing like a ball at the creature, and the ball lands in front of it and then absorbs the monster, and then they can release the monster to fight other monsters by throwing the ball back down.
That sounds brilliant.
Brilliant. There we go.
Who plays the middle-aged man?
An animated Japanese boy with a red baseball cap.
So, genuinely...
That's my answer. He's got to catch them all. Yeah.
So honestly,
she is played by a yellow mouse. An animated yellow mouse who can shoot lightning bolts. Yeah. There's my film. That's my film.
Right.
Yeah.
So you don't know who really plays
Up until
them.
that point, I thought that was a legitimately good story.
Well,
that
it
I
is.
came up with.
It is.
Until that fact.
Yeah.
But, okay. Until the point where I realised I was basically stealing an idea from Pokemon. And so if anybody wants to use that, by all means do. Just give me a call. We'll sort out a deal, all right? What would we call it? The Impossible Zoo. What about that? That's what it's called.
Impossible Zoo.
It's called The Impossible Zoo.
Impossible Zoo. It's all filmed in Glasgow.
It's all filmed in Glasgow for a budget of £1,000. Right.
Next topic.
Topic number 2. We talked for so long on the other one.
The next topic is science news. Science news. Okay, so it's been revealed that scientists in America have found that if you extract young blood from young mice and then you inject young blood into old mice...
What, you don't mean young blood, you mean blood from a young mouse, yeah?
Well, I was making it simple for you.
Yeah, no, but
I
don't like your sloppy sentence construction there. It's annoying me.
If you take
taking blood from a young mouse...
If you take blood...
Yeah.
If you take blood from a young mouse...
Yes.
And then re-inject that blood into the same mouse when it's older...
Oh, right, okay.
It will stimulate...
You're a sicko.
It does nothing.
It does
but
nothing.
But it is remarkably funny.
Yes,
because the mouse has too much blood and it explodes.
Right.
If
you have a fat mouse.
If you inject... Right.
If you inject young blood of a young mouse into an old mouse with
old
blood...
mouse with old blood...
The same old mouse.
It starts regenerating.
Starts regenerating.
Yep, regenerates nerve cells.
He doesn't change into
a
different mouse with a slightly different personality, but the same memories.
No.
But
you can start to regenerate older people.
What do you mean by regenerate? You mean it just
regenerates nerve cells, regenerates muscle cells, things. It basically seems to switch on stem cells again. Without getting too heavily into the telomerase science of it, it seems to stimulate the stem cells, the older stem cells, with the injection of younger stem cells in the blood.
That's all they have to do. They don't have to do anything to the blood. They don't have to sort of, combine it with various agents. All they have to do is take the blood out of a mouse and then just squirt the blood, like, into the mouth. Into the mouth of the yawning old mouse. And it's fine, and that's it. Immediately starts. Its hair starts to grow short. Its eyes brighter.
Six-pack. Yeah. Mouse six-pack.
It's a lot less grumpy and right wing.
No, I'm implying that you have to inject it into its bloodstream. The idea of it is that it works better with mice, not so much with humans, because we have different, obviously, genetic makeups to mice. But they do think that this process could potentially be used in humans. So when you're young, stem cells, which they already do, obviously take stem cells from things like the umbilical cord and stuff like that. But I think if they took blood out of you when you were younger and put it back into you when you were older, theoretically, if your nerve cells didn't degenerate, if your skin cells didn't degenerate, and your bones and everything regenerated over time. So because it stops regenerating that we fuck up, basically.
Okay.
You could fundamentally be an immortal.
I'm willing.
With a stretch of the imagination.
All right.
You'd
Yeah.
be an immortal.
I'm going to just humour you. Fine.
My question to you is...
Right.
Would you?
Would I what? Would I do
Become
that?
an immortal? Would you?
Through that process?
Yeah. So let's say I can say you can live for 1,000 years, but we do need to take blood out of you every day for the first 16 years of your life.
Taking out the whole blood side of things, I think actually in terms of just would I want to... I mean, if you're asking, would I like to live for a very long period of time?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, so I mean, so long as you know that there is an end point.
Yeah.
There's got to be a cut-off.
Yeah, okay.
And I want to be in control of that cut-off. I don't want to have a situation whereby you say, I can give you a pill, but you are going to live until you're 1,000,000 years old.
Right.
Because if I get to 1,000,000 years old, but I mean long before that, probably when I'm like 500,000,
Yeah.
I will be so fed up.
Bored, man.
I will be bored out of my mind. And I mean, what happens if something happens to me? What if I break a leg in a way that cannot easily be repaired? What if I damage my spine and I can't walk? What if one of my eyes is taken out by a bird? I mean, I don't want that.
No. You
don't
don't really want to be 30 years old and have no eyes and no spine. No.
But at least now, if it happened, I know I only had another 40 or 50 years of
To
being
suffer it.
a one-eyed paraplegic. But I mean, ultimately, that's not the situation I want to find myself in.
No.
500,000. But if I get to 500,000 and I'm in that situation, and then I think I've got another 500,000 years to go, that's rubbish. I've got to be able to say, you know what? I want to be able. I've got a ejector seat. I've got to get out.
You press a button and your head explodes.
I've got a button and my head will explode.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to survive with that, because could you imagine what it would be like?
Well, that's my next
press the
question.
button,
That's my next
and
question.
then it turns out that was a cruel joke you were told by a scientist, and you're still alive with your head in 1,000
This is going to be my
pieces.
next question, right?
Yeah.
What if there were conditions? So I could say, look, we can preserve your head for 1,000 years.
No, that would be absolutely internal. I wouldn't want to live for 10 days.
Or we
with
put
just
you in a
head.
robot.
My head is in a robot body.
So we can put you in a robot body.
Right.
You can move around relatively independently,
Okay.
and we connect up all your nerves.
Oh no, not for 1,000,000 years.
What about if I said we can preserve your body for 1,000 years,
Right.
but we can't preserve your head?
Because why?
So you can be
The hair follicles were holding me back.
Because you can be
Right.
you can be conscious, but you'll just be a body.
Are you asking me that question? I mean, what? Are you seriously asking
But
me
you
that?
could still write. You could still.
What would I write? Kill me, please. Somebody end this torment. That's all I would write over and over down 100 pages. That's
What about
all I would write.
if you had a Stephen Hawking machine? So you have a
live
robot head.
so I could live the life of luxury that Stephen Hawking lives. God, what a blissful existence this sounds like. 1,000,000 years, here I come.
You're in peak physical condition. You can still feel everything, but you have to have a head that you can't see out of.
Yeah.
But you can voice your opinions.
Can I end this though? Can I end it? I couldn't even hang myself. I couldn't put my head in the oven.
True.
None of these things would work.
You just sit in a car that's full of fumes.
Yeah.
And you just sit there going, "This isn't working."
How long until someone drives me home?
I do hope that a meteor lands on me.
Yeah, it would be no, it'd be terrible.
No.
Unless there was, I wouldn't mind if you said to me, you have you have a button which you press and you will drop dead.
Right.
Or you press a button and you'll explode and it's over. Or let's say something more painless than exploding.
No.
Let's
You go to sleep.
You go to sleep. You go to sleep and that's it. You die. That's fine. I'd be up for that. That's fine. I'd choose to live as long as I.
You'd rather choose when you're going to die than have it.
Yeah, of course. I wouldn't want to live for 1,000,000 years. And on day 3 of that arrangement, I'm crushed by an elephant, and I spend the next 1,000,000 years of my life with a big elephant's footprint in my chest, screaming for mercy. It would be abominable. No. Never, not in a million. I can never, ever understand why people want to live forever.
All right, here's a question.
It'd be awful.
Seeing as you're an
Literally, the planet is dead. All life, all human life, all vegetation, everything, every bacteria, every single thing. and I would have to just sit on this desolate wasteland waiting for the sun to explode in the hope that that killed me. Because imagine if the sun exploded and a wave of energy blasted across the galaxy, and afterwards it was just me floating through space going, why am I still alive? Why am I still alive?
Sure.
What about, here's a question to you. You can die. What about if you can die, but you can live for as long as you want, but the only way you can continue to live is by doing something of terrible. Like a vampire, like vampires, how they have to drink blood, right?
Children's blood. I can drink children's blood.
That example. We're not going to use children's blood because the obvious answer to that is no. But let's just take let's say you can drink. You could drink. Let's say a cat's blood. If you drink cat's blood,
does the cat have to be alive?
No, it can be. Well, it won't be alive after you've got his blood.
No, that's what I'm saying. So if your cat didn't have to be alive, I'd probably just live in a vet's.
Okay, so you live
every
in
time
you become a vet,
was...
and every time you have to put down a cat,
just say it's painless for it.
you bite out his throat in front of the owner.
So he's going to.
I only wanted it to be defleed. You just bit the throat. His blood smearing around your mouth.
He's going to a better place. You might want to look away. His head's missing. His head's gone. And I'm like, oh dear. So then with a still full injection, just squirt it on the wall. Squirt the injection on the wall.
Oh my god, what a thought.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So that's...
I would struggle if it was a live cat. I own cats.
No, it's a dead cat. Although, admittedly,
roadkill.
Roadkill. You can eat. Okay, so you have to drink the blood of roadkill, and then you do that, and then you get to live for another. You get to live for another 10 years every time you do that.
Every time I drink one bit of roadkill, I live for another 10 years. Yeah, fuck yeah.
Would you do that? But you can still. I don't want to risk it. I can't risk not dying. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want to die, but I don't want to not die either.
I think there's a lot to do in the world, though.
Yeah, there is.
I reckon if you
a million years worth of stuff to do.
No, probably not that.
No.
Well, I don't know though. Maybe there is.
How many channels?
I mean, well, I'm just thinking like if you could watch all of TV for all of time.
Yeah.
And learn everything.
You could
read every book.
Read every book. Yeah.
You could go to every country.
But that's the point. You'd get past all the good books and you'd read just the bad books. You'd be reading all the bad books. The thing is, by like...
Yeah, but that's only because the only reason you don't read... The only reason you don't read bad books is because you've got a limited amount of time on this world.
That's exactly.
And you don't want to waste it.
But that's what I'm saying. What happens once you've read all the good books and all you've got left is the bad books?
But it doesn't matter because it wouldn't be
But
bad books.
that means all you've got is bad books to read.
But it doesn't matter because you've got forever, so it doesn't matter.
Of course it bloody matters. It means I've got forever of reading bad books.
It just depends on how bored you get. That's the trouble.
Yes,
you get bored easily.
And basically, after 10,000 years, you'd be going, do you know what? I have got nothing to look forward to, but the books of Jeffrey Archer. And you've been putting them off for the last 5,000 years.
You could write all the best books in the world.
I just think, no, I don't want to live forever. I want to be able to live for as long as I want, and then be able to pull the plug when I say. And let's say, let's say it's a tough decision to make. Let's say the only way I can kill myself is by sawing off my own head. You know? So the only way I can do it is if I really want to go.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't want to do that. That's a stupid idea. I don't want that. But it can't be too easy. It can't be just a button I press.
No.
Because then I might just do it because I'm having a bad day.
Yeah, of course.
So no. I don't want to be immortal. I don't want to risk it. I can't risk that.
Outstanding.
No mouse blood for me.
Right. My next question, Kelvin, is what supernatural beings do you find most frightening and why?
What are we classing as supernatural?
I'm thinking sort of your typical monster fare, your zombies, werewolves.
Oh god, I fucking hate zombies.
Zombies.
No, I don't. I don't mean scared. I absolutely hate them. I'm so sick of seeing zombies in things. I'm absolutely sick to the back bloody teeth of them. I hate them. They're such a boring monster now. They're used in everything. Every computer game, every DLC, all films, all television programs. Zombies, bloody zombies everywhere.
I think that the main thing is that they're kind of used as an unstoppable force, aren't they?
Yeah, but they are, but they're just they're always the bloody same. It's not like a vampire. It's got a bit of personality, and you can get a bit of variety. I'm not against zombies, but I cannot stand bloody zombies these days.
You're not scared of them?
It's not. When I was younger, I found them quite scary stuff. Now I just cannot be bothered. If I was attacked by a real zombie, I'd yawn. I would. I'm absolutely bloody sick of them. I hate them.
Because they're
overused. Don't even
overused.
bring them up again.
Because they're overused.
Because they're overused, just in everything. It's like every computer game, films, TV shows.
You're not happy about it.
It's not even like there's any variation within that, because the thing is, it's like I said, it's not like a vampire where they've got a bit of personality, and, you know, basically the character of the vampire can vary from script to script and film to film, TV show, whatever.
Sure.
The personality of a zombie is either fast or slow. That is the personalities of a zombie. They are the only two available personalities: running or some shambling.
Were you scared of vampires as a child?
I was as a child, but then I was stupid as a child. And as I've grown into a man, I have realised that the vampires are not even vaguely frightening.
I quite like that you could have a conversation with a vampire.
Vampires are quite interesting. They're an interesting monster, but they're not scary anyway. I've never seen anything scary. It's not one of those things that people say, oh, like Dracula's scary, isn't he? Christopher Lee as Dracula, he was scary. No, not really. You know, I like Hammer horror films and stuff. I like the old classic horror films. I even like Dracula. But he's not scary in it. He's an intriguing character. I'm not saying he's not.
He's monstrous, though.
He's monstrous, but he's not scary. Not scary in a real scary sense. He's not frightening in the sense of it being.
So if you woke up and he was stood in the corner of your room staring down on you, you'd be like, "Good afternoon."
Well, no, I wouldn't be frightened of him.
Good evening.
I wouldn't be frightened of him just for standing there, though. Well, no, sorry. Sorry, but then I would be frightened of anyone who was in my room when I woke up.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. Whereas I'm not particularly scared of werewolves. Even though I think they would be horrible to be torn apart by a werewolf, I think it's either being torn apart by a wolf. I'm as scared. There you are. That's exactly it. I'm as scared of wolves as I am of werewolves.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I'm of a similar. If I was in the Canadian wilderness,
or a big dog. I mean, in a
or
way,
a big dog, or a big
there's no
angry
reason
dog.
to be more scared of a werewolf than there is to be scared of a big dog.
Well, the idea is that they could be amongst you. But even with werewolves, you get quite a long transformation time. Like if I start going and like you saw my fingers growing, and you'd probably be like, "Crease, you're all right." But as soon as I sprouted fangs, you'd probably be out the fucking door.
Funnily enough, I think you've hit the nail on the head there, because I think the only real thing about a werewolf that's really frightening is the transformation.
Yeah,
the idea of a violent and involuntary transformation from a rational being into an irrational being is a frightening concept, and is frightening to see in films or read about in books and stuff. That is a more frightening thing than actually the wolf. Once it becomes the wolf, it's not that frightening.
No.
What about this? Okay, here's a suggestion. Why don't you name a series of supernatural beings or monsters or whatever, and I will tell you how scary they are, whether they're more or less scary than each other.
Okay, so we'll start off with Ghost.
It's a bit scary.
A bit scary. Zombies.
Very low on my scale.
Very low on your scale.
I would yawn if I saw a zombie.
Werewolves.
Probably below ghosts.
Below ghosts. Okay. Frankenstein's monster.
Right at the bottom, there is nothing frightening about a Frankenstein's monster.
No,
people would say, the concept of man's hubris is frightening in itself. It's frightening to think that a man could create a life from death. Yeah, I mean, fine, whatever, but it's not frightening.
Okay.
That's not actually frightening. That's just something that you've said.
Yeah.
You've said it in a frightening voice, but you're not actually telling me that a Frankenstein monster is itself monstrous. It's not. It's just a big man with a bolt through its neck.
Fair shout.
Holding its head on.
Witches.
Which is quite a high scare level.
Quite a high scare level. Fair enough. Giants.
Frightening, very frightening. A huge, monstrous man with a club. Very frightening. But in TV and films, very low on the frightening scale.
There's not very many giant films, are there?
I mean, genuinely, probably just above the Frankenstein's monster.
Really?
Just above the Frankenstein's monster.
If they were benevolent giants, they'd be quite nice as well, wouldn't they?
Oh, a benevolent giant would be lovely.
Like leaning into your window.
Yeah.
Morning!
It's just a big man.
Morning, you alright?
That'd be alright.
Fine, thank you! I brought you some meat!
It also depends what they look like. Are they horrible, disfigured, monstrous ogre? Or are they just a big man? Are they just a big man?
Just a big old friendly man with a beard.
A big man.
Big men. Where do big men run?
Big men are more frightening than giants, but less frightening than a skeleton in a hat.
Alright, skeletons.
Skeletons, walking skeletons.
Walking skeletons.
In real life, in real life, most of these things would be frightening in some level. But I mean, I do think that that a skeleton in a film is not scary.
That's true.
A walking, talking skeleton, even a frightening one that goes whoa, that is even one that says like nasty things like "I'm gonna fucking kill you." That skeleton will not be that frightening in any scenario.
I think I don't like the fact that I don't know how you kill a skeleton. I think that's what scares me. Is I don't know how you'll go about, because if you decapitate it, it'll probably just keep fighting. And what's moving its arms around? It's not muscles.
Stop motion.
That's true. Yeah. Stop motion isn't scary.
Yeah,
it's just tedious.
So. That's true. Very slow.
Okay. Minotaurs. Or Minotaur, as you'll probably pronounce it, but Minotaur.
Not that scary.
Really?
It's just a cow and a man. It's like a pantomime horse.
That's true.
But with the bottom taken off.
It's true. It's true.
But without the bum.
Dragons.
In real life,
it
would be bloody terrifying.
I think it'd be one of the worst things you could have out of those things.
True, but it isn't. It's not terrifying in. I mean, again, it's not like.
You'd probably take them out though.
It's not frightening in the sense of like a spiritual level, in the way that say like a vampire is or something like that, which is scary because it might take your soul.
Yeah.
Which is worse.
Yeah.
But it is a fucking great big dragon, and that is going to be frightening.
That's true. Kraken.
Would be very frightening.
Terrifying.
Because you're already isolated.
And what could you do? You're on a nice,
ultimately,
Norway fjord cruise.
Even a shark, in a funny way, just a shark, an ordinary, real, big shark is more frightening than most of the things you've described. Because if you're at sea, you are completely trapped and you have nothing you can do against it.
That's true.
So in a lot of ways, a shark is a more frightening concept to me than, than a werewolf.
That's true.
It's the more frightening ones are things which you don't know what they're going to do to you.
Sure.
So that's why something like a witch or potentially a vampire or something like that is more frightening, because obviously it's your soul, your spirit, or you don't actually know what it's going to do to you. It could do something truly abysmal.
What about very small people? Trolls, tiny trolls.
Terrifying.
Or evil
very
gnomes.
frightening. No,
evil gnomes.
All that I find those frightening. Very frightening, because actually, in a way, they're one of the worst things I can think of. Because
they would be under your duvet.
They would be under your duvet. You wouldn't even know they were there. They're a creepy little monster that's hidden away and waits for you to go to sleep. Oh, awful, horrible thought.
Actually, they're probably the scariest of
all.
They're
probably up there with the most frightening. No, I wouldn't like that one bit. Not one bit.
No.
Right. Well, I think we're finished. I think we're done.
All done, Kel.
The first one wrapped up and behind us. Okay, well, thank you very much for listening, everybody. Thank you to you, Crease.
Welcome.
And if you want to follow us, we're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. All of those, you can find us as Radioface Comedy. YouTube, we also put up videos and various clips and all sorts of stuff. And that's it. So thanks again for listening. And until next time, bye-bye.
Bye.